Hello, how's everybody doing? I hope everyone are doing quite well with their family. Today, the focus is going to be on autism. I'm going to be discussing a bit about the four levels of intellectual disability um, in autism spectrum disorder. Now, autism, some of us or some people know, is a developmental disability that influence a person's ability to communicate and relate to others. Um, so, I'm going to go into what is, autism spectrum disorder. But let me share this to groups, and then once I'm done sharing to groups, then we go into it. Okay, let me see. Let me turn this down. All right. Okay, hold on. Before so I do this. Now it's important to awareness about autism spectrum disorders has been going on. Some people are interested in learning um, the characteristics, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But a lot of people don't even realize the magnitude of what the parents, parents of autistic child, needs to goes through or have to endure on a daily basis. It's not easy. Some parents have a lot of resources. Other parents do not have enough resources, or some parents do not know uh, that they do have resources, and some of them, they still in denial as to what they need to do, and it's not easy. I mean, everybody wants their child to be healthy, and not have any type of disability, but that's not something that one should feel ashamed of. There are resources all around. Parents just need to uh, research and figure out ways and means to support their child or their children. Some people are inconsiderate. I mean, people who lack of knowledge when it comes to autism spectrum disorders, they will come and fool around and say anything or speak anyhow that they want, but they don't know the work that parents with autistic um, children have to, the challenges that they faces every single day, the difficulties, it's a lot of work. Some parents, have to dedicate their whole um, lifestyle into helping their child. They need to come up with recreational activities, services that will be able to support their child, if this service is beneficial for their child, because there are some services that some parents are giving and receiving that is still not um, helping their child. And the parents have to kind of endure, go through with so much, and some people don't understand. Brother Isaac Amweni, Apomu everything. I hope say yes to Adunini Shira, Eye Pam, Mimoakwaba. And then yeah, become a autism spectrum disorders asam. It's I say ebi mu wɔ hɔnom a ɔmo enim sɛ ɔmo ba wɔ some type of disability, but to say they don't want to admit it. Some people will talk in terms of spiritual and other stuff, but it's not. And having an autistic child does not mean that child will be able to live their life normally with resources and support, being able to get them the right services. Some parents don't have a lot of knowledge of it, other parents do. So it's always good as a community, society, to support one another, to support each other. Why I cannot get into this. Let me copy. I don't know why I can't. It's not allowing me to go into the page. Let me see. So, it's not allowing me to go into there. I don't know why. Let me see. Oh, this is so annoying. Okay. So, what is autism spectrum disorder? Like, most psychiatrists, psychologists, normally they use the ASD, which stands for Autism Spectrum Disorder, right? And it's a neurological and developmental disorder that affects how people interact with others, communicate, learn, and behave. So, although autism can be diagnosed at any age, right? But as young as 2 years, I believe. Yeah, 2 years. When they turn two, they can be diagnosed. Some of them are diagnosed earlier. Others are diagnosed in their teenage years, depending. Some parents are quick. They observe their child, and when their child will start talking or being responsive to when they being acknowledged, calling their name, how they are responsive to that, as to whether or not they're receptive or not. It's a whole lot. Getting an early intervention or having resources is the most important thing. Some children with autism will have been able to receive early intervention. Others were not, because with others, their parents were like kind of not aware that their child, excuse me, pepper soup. Whew. The pepper is like going through my lungs talking. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, you're killing me with your pepper soup. So, some parents were able to. Others, when their child is diagnosed, one parent will be receptive to their child, having autism. Another parent will be in denial, because they feel like, okay, I'm African and this stuff don't happen. It does happen. Um, and this is, they don't have the direct like causes of it, or like, but environments can affect it where you live. Some of excuse me, oh my goodness gracious. Oh, mm, the environment they live in, and other stuff. So I'm going to go through really quick with the levels of the 4 levels of intellectual disability, which are, you have the mild intellectual disability, you have the moderate intellectual disability, and you have severe intellectual disability, and then you have profound intellectual disability. Some individuals have mild to moderate intellectual disabilities, and their parents, their family wants to make sure that that is noted in documentation, because what they don't want other people or people who will work with their child, they need to know uh, their intellectual ability. So, like, if it's only mild, it's mild. If it's moderate, it's moderate. But when they have, mild to moderate, you have to be very careful with that, because you're going to see different type of um, difficulties, so you need to be mindful of that. So the mild intellectual disability, is refers to a deficit in intellectual functions pertaining to abstract, theological thinking, right? Mild intellectual disability, individuals with mild intellectual disabilities are slower in all areas of conceptual development and social and daily living skills. These individuals can learn practical life skills, which allows them to function in ordinary life with minimum level of support. Excuse me, sorry. Ooh, pepper soup. It's going into my lungs. Talking is not easy. Oh my gosh, my throat. I need to get water. Just give me like a few. Excuse me. The pepper is too much. Whew, sorry. Let me. So, like, when you have adults with mild intellectual disabilities, often they have little control over the environment. They may not have the ability to modify many stressful social interaction when you working, in terms of some of them, when it comes to, I don't want to go into certain things because I want to talk about characteristics in a different time. So I will save it for that. I will save it for that. And then with moderate intellectual disability, individuals with moderate intellectual disabilities, if your child has moderate intellectual disability, they may display some of the following symptoms, are slow in understanding and using languages. So it's like, when you speaking with them, it will depend, how they're going to be receptive to what you were telling them to do. Some of them need some time, to process what you are telling them. So you, the adult, you need to exercise patience. You can expect them to, like, for their mind to work as rapid as yours could. And then I'm telling you, I'm gonna have some of this characteristic in here today, because it's just going to come through it. Some may have some difficulties with communication, being able to express their needs, versus their desire, telling you what is happening. So one can get provoked, right? And if adult is not able to, like, see what happened, or intervene. I'm sorry that I'm coughing so much, because there's pepper soup, so it's like the pepper is like kind of like getting in my lungs. And but individuals with moderate can learn basic reading, writing, and counting skills, so they would not have any issues with that. But in terms of understanding certain things, and using language, it will be difficult for them to do so. And then when you go to the severe intellectual disability, it does manifest on that level. It manifests as major delays in development, and individuals often have the ability to understand speech, but are limited with communication skills, right? They understand what you're telling them, but how to, convey what you're telling them is limited. And then you have, when it comes to severe intellectual disability, severe intellectual disability, they have severe damages to or abnormal development of their central nervous system, right? So a lot of the things, when I went through Google, and I was like, like when they talk about, having severe damage or abnormal development to their central nervous system, what does that mean? So they can have an IQ that will ranges from 20 to 34%, which is like really low, right? The last level of intellectual disability is profound intellectual disability. They have very limited ability to communicate, and often have physical limitations, right? Individuals with individuals with mild to moderate disabilities are less likely to have associated medication condition than those with severe or profound intellectual disability. So, like, when you say in terms of that, what is the difference between severe and profound intellectual disability? Profound intellectual disabilities, specifically refers specifically to an IQ under 20, right? And then people with profound difficulties often have mobility difficulties and complex health needs. many are nonverbal, the ones with profound intellectual disability, so they cannot communicate what it is that they need. What they're going to use is gestures, cues, and some of them, they will have the communication device, whereas they communicate with other individuals. They build relationship with people within their family, people that they're close to, and it takes time for them to like develop a relationship with people from outside. So if they receiving some services and their family identify someone that is closer to the family or someone within the family whom they feel that um, their child will trust them, and they can trust their child into their care, because some family, they kind of like have the fear of, my child is not able to communicate with other people, so if I entrust my child to someone that I do not trust, taking my child outside into the community, how is that person going to be talking with my child? Would that person treat my child with respect and be caring? Give my child some caring gesture, being able to understand the cues that my child is using. So most times, the family will start off the services, taking place within the house, because they want to make sure that the person that they entrusting their child with, they can trust them to be alone with them. Now, keep in mind, when you have people working in your house, they will display behavior that you feel that you can trust them. And trust me, like with the services, their staff, they give them training. So if that child is able to give cues, and you feel like, okay, this individual cannot speak, so I can do whatever, so I'm just going to sit here and do X, Y, and Z without paying him any mind. When they do transition back home, they can communicate with their family with or without being verbal, and the family may ask, for a change of staff. So you cannot decide that, okay, you cannot mistreat children with autism spectrum disorder. A lot of them are very articulate. They very observant. You see, I'm going into the characteristics again. I'm trying to like share this, but okay, finally. Just give me a second. Uh-huh. Wait. Okay, there. Let me see. Do I have that? Okay, I do. All right. So let me do this. So let me just give me a few seconds. Oh, come on. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. Let's see, 23. All right. Almost there. Mm. I don't know why this thing is not giving me directly. It's taking time. Okay, so there it is. Okay, that's good. Done. Hello. Sorry, oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, pepper soup na mukona kom. So I have to drink water. Most certainly. Yes. So, you know, also when your child has like, the early intervention, some of the services that are provided for them will be speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and then if you need some psychiatrists or um, other professional, assistance, you can request for that. The reason being because some of them do have difficulties, with communication or interacting with other people. You do have some of them as time goes on, their social interaction gets better, but with some services, you can provide them some of the coping skills, how to um, interact with other people. You may have some of them, they will interact with other people, but they will not say much, right? They will just keep to themselves. Some of them do not like touching. I don't want, I'm going into the characteristics, but it's okay. Sometimes when you having certain discussion, you be able to go into one or two things that you want to say before later. So there are some signs, of intellectual disabilities in adults. When they get older, some of the signs and symptoms, will include, failure to meet milestone in development, right? Some of them is, they will show slow learning development, which is normal. But if you have a parent who does not have knowledge of it, they will start panicking and think that there's something wrong with it. To say Ghana, you could Ghana for to say, oh, akola, or what make I say, Misha, na your neighbor baako ne ba boy te sɛ na ne nante kura mpo na wotumi hu sɛ ne joint nom ne ade no excuse me ɔhave problem a ɔde nante nti no na ɔnante wɔ ne nan no and mekae te sɛ like sɛ bia yɛdi agorɔ yɛyɛ pilolo nom ne ho korɔ ne ba a na ntumi nkaakye up with the other kids nti na ɛyɛ saa na obiara pɛ sɛ ɔno na da biara na ɔrekyesi nkurɔfoɔ ɛsiane so yɛn nyinaa yɛnim sɛ ɔnkaakye up with obiara sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a ɔno na ɔbɛyɛ stuck with having to do most of the work, which is like really bad. But saa time no woyɛ akwaraa wonim I mean, right from wrong, but it says obi ɛnte sɛ wɔnante ne nan mu sɛnea wonante wo nan mu na wohu ne sɛ ɔyɛ yarefoɔ nti no te sɛ na nkurɔfoɔ sere no na they being laughed at and I say call names no ne ade. I mean, I cannot imagine the trauma, the psychological and the emotional trauma that was caused to him in every way possible. It's not say you knew that, and I will fully be so no. Yenchre yemma adeɛ sɛ te sɛ bia obi ɛnte sɛ obi yɛ different from you na ɛni kwan sɛ wosere nipa no ebia nipa no hia mmoa a boa nipa no so but te sɛ ɛba sɛ ɔmo enyi na right nneɛma bi a ɛkyerɛkyerɛ sɛ okay nipa wei sɛ obi nkura no bi wɔ hɔnom a sɛnea akenkan koraa no ɛɛden ma no wobɛtumi akyerɛ no over onim kenkan anaasɛ ɔbɛkasa no ebinom nso wɔ hɔnom a wɔyɛ selective mute ɔmo pɛke choose nipa a ɔbɛkasa akyerɛ no ɛna nipa a ɔnkasa nkyerɛ no adwuma a na meyɛ me former adwuma a na meyɛ boy baako a na ɔwɔ hɔnom na saa na ɔte a ɔyɛ selective mute nti no te sɛ onim kasa but ɛnyɛ obiara na ɔne ne kasa nti no ɔbaa yɛn house no na ɔnkasa wɔ biara ho nti at some point but sɛ wo kasa kyerɛ no wo direct no sɛ wonyɛ sei ɔbɛyɛ biribiara ɛsiane sɛ ɔmpɛ sɛ wobɛgyina ne so akyɛ ɔmpɛ nipa mu ɔmpɛ nipa wɔ ne ho nom ne ade nti no te sɛ eduru sɛ yɛ sɛ ɔclean ne dan mu wɔyɛ laundry nom ne ade ɔno ara bɛselect ayɛ ne laundry ayɛ biribiara ba wɔnkasa wɔ biara ho ɔbɛfollow routine biribi a ɛbɛyɛ biara ɔbɛyɛ nti no wonkasa n'anim sɛ bi a woma n'adeɛ no ɔmpɛ a the way ne facial expression no anaasɛ ne body posture no ɛne yɛde bɛhu sɛ adeɛ ama no wɔmpɛ nti wobisa no sɛ wompɛ either ɔbɛhwɛ w'anim saa sɛ wɔpɛ a ɔbɛdi nti sɛ ɔhwɛ ɔnni a ehia so bebusa nse wompɛ wonim sɛ adeɛ no ɔmpɛ because he is picking and choosing who to talk to nti yɛ panyin a na ɔwɔ hɔnom no ɛdeɛ na ayɛ ɔne ne kasa or schedule appointment ne kasa nom ne ade he is very observant sɛ yɛn nyinaa yɛabɔ senkuo te hɔ no ɔbɛtena hɔ no wobɛhu no wobɛpagya w'ani no na ebi a wɔhwɛ wo wohu sɛ w'ani abɛtɔ n'anim a no wayi n'ani afiri hɔnom Ọba pa ahụ ofechi ya sister Gifty Akosi Adam te abomu te sɛn ɛmɛ wakaba wɔn ho si wɔn ani abɛtɔ n'anim a no wayi n'ani afiri hɔnom nti no te sɛ at some point no obusa me panyin sɛ ɔpɛ sɛ yɛyɛ meeting because me na ɔpɛ sɛ or communicate it with me say penny ni honoma or buy your house no so no na say it's almost 1 year na on kasa staff no ye mu bia but say woman the direction no near you obey bibia and you don't even need to complain about him but say staff ni bi won honoma na almost say esan say won kasa no ne ade no say bia wonya incentive na ebi mo person mo taking away but say we have to advocate okay nipa no on kasa wo ho a eno nkyerɛ sɛ abufuo nti no ube take something away from that child to force that child to talk to you because ono no ɔde ne ho ɛna ɔse ɔne wo nkasa and then I will force you trying to like create an issue when there is none, right? And like the first time I heard him talking, hey, I was dumbfounded. He speaks with, care. And he speaks he was very articulate, speaks very well. Grammar, everything was on point. And I couldn't believe it. So I'm sitting there and he looks at me, he goes, Miss Amelia, I know like you probably surprised, how well I speak, right? And I'm sitting there nodding my head and he was like, I know everyone that I choose to speak to, feels the same way. So it's like, like as if. Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, well, I'm happy that you choosing to like communicate with me. So, and he was like, I know you're only here on Wednesday to Saturday. I'll be fine from Monday to Tuesday because I've been here for 1 year and I have never spoken to anybody, but I do myself. So it's no problem for me. And I'm sitting there, like my mind is like flipping around, trying to process everything that's happening. and he was able to like go into details like on certain days, which staff, some of the things that they do, how he feels unsafe, because at times, he will struggle following following routine because of tone of voice, how a certain staff will speak to him. So he will give them, he will not follow their direction because he does not want to be with that particular staff, right? But if a different staff comes, he will be able to fall into routine, and he was able to like, he was able to like, by the time that he left the place, he was speaking to almost all the staff with the exception of two staff, because like he was not able to build relationship with those staff. So like, some of the signs and symptoms, when they get older, it also like they will have issues, remembering, some of them, not all of them, remembering, names, or like, remembering things, and people, like if you give them some information, they will not be able to remember specific information. Also, they might have difficulties completing tasks, right? um, Sometimes some of them, just getting dressed, you know, getting undressed is easier. They'll be able to do that. But getting dressed, sometimes, some of them, they will wear their clothes inside out, which is like, but they will not see it. You pointed out, and at times, some of them, they wear their clothes certain ways because of sensory. Others, there are certain clothes, the fabric, that no matter what you do, they will never wear it. So it's a lot. The family, the mothers, most of the time, you have a lot of the mothers who ends up, having to be the advocate for their child with autism or some disabilities. So they grow to know their child, what their child need, how they need to go about it. But at times, they get overwhelmed, because self-care is one thing, that everyone needs to have self-care. Because when you're taking care of somebody and you're not in a good place, you will not be able to provide the care that your child with autistic, on the spectrum, will need of you to do. So I'm not going to I'm going to go into the characteristics. I did share some of the characteristics in here, but I will go into more details next time. We need to be able to be supportive with parents who have children with autistic. They sacrifice a lot. They work really hard. It's a full-time job. It's never easy, because most times skills that they learn to support their child, it may not work. It may work now, 2 minutes or 2 seconds from now, it will not be able to work. So they need to exercise a lot of patience. Be able to not to be very careful, their tone of voice. How they redirect, or prompt their child. Um, Giving them routine. Some of them are visual, visual help with them well. others is auditory, others, can be both, and some, you know, neither one of them will work. So you're going to have to like learn to uh, give them a lot of head of help. But in due time, with the right services, oh my gosh, they can make a lot of improvements and progress, when it comes to physical strength. When they do get triggered, they're very strong because they need to protect themselves, everything that they see. Some of them, they record everything. It's like having a recorder. It don't matter things that happen 2 years from now, or whatever years you think, or whatever month, they're going to remember. So it's always also important each time um, an incident happen, there needs to be a restorative work. That's going to help them be able to process it, because they know something happened and something was done. It wasn't disregarded, because they don't like to be disregarded, and they should never be disregarded. You need to make sure that you don't treat them any differently from your other children. But they need the most attention, because they can make certain decisions on their own. Hey, Dr. Joe Kingsley, Apomu Etis saying, I hope say yes, so I don't know Shira. Hey, pa. It's good to see you. And then dear me babe can autism wasam, um autism spectrum disorder. And to say like, and then me share with the 4 levels of intellectual disabilities, and Nyoma Omu Intiminye, the Umbetimi Ayani, the Omu Intiminye. To say, I will fully be a Omoba have the diagnosis. And so, no, the Omu Intimi to say, Omu Jintum. Ɔmongye ntom. Mewɔ adamfoɔ baako a te sɛ ne ba no papa yɛ Ghanani, ba ne ba ne maame nyɛ Ghanani. Maame no deɛ wagye atom, ba papa no ɔno no ɔse ɔno no ne ba ni saa de no. Nso ne ba no ne nneɛma bi a wɔyɛ ne nyinaa no, ɛna afei nso no psychological report ne psychosocial report no ne nyinaa kyerɛ sɛ she's autistic. But ɛsiane sɛ papa no nyɛ ni no, ɛna ɔne maame no ɛni hɔnom no, sɛ akwaraa no wɔ maame ne hɔ a ɔreceive services. But sɛ ɔkɔ papa ne hɔ abusuafoɔ Ghanafoɔ no hɔnom a, kyerɛ sɛ ɔmo ɛmma service no ɛnkɔ so. Nti no, can you imagine akwaraa baako te sɛ awofo baako ɛmma no all the resources any intervention a wohia, but awofo baako nso no is against it. Nti no, ɛmmoa no wɔ kwan biara so. So ɛyɛ saa na akwaraa no ayɛ confused, because wontumi ɛmma no adeɛ na woka kyerɛ ne sɛ okay, adeɛ wei sei na mmoa nti deɛ papa no ka kyerɛ ne ba no, papa no nso ka kyerɛ ne ba no sɛ biribi ɛnha no nom ne ade. But akwaraa no nso no te sɛ nneɛma bebree, reading anaasɛ sɛ bi a woma no direction nom ne ayi, anaasɛ wohia biribi na ne nsa nkan a, sɛnea ɔbɛyɛ ɛwɔ ne maame ne fie ne papa no, sɛ yɛn sɛ Africafoɔ awofo no bi no, sɛnea ɛkasa nom ne ade no, sɛnea ɛkasa nom ne ade no, ayɛ a na esuro aba akwaraa no mu. Nti no, ɔde Ghana henya no, nteatea no ɛhyɛ akwaraa no. Nti akwaraa no kɔ papa ne hɔnom a wɔtɛ din. Wɔn sɛ meka sɛ some of them are articulate. Me say me save characteristic for some other thing. Nti no, wɔhwɛ ɔmo observe wo paa ɔbɛhwɛ nea woyɛ nyinaa nti no baabi a ɔbɛkɔ biara no onim baabi a ɔkɔ a obetumi display wei na baabi a wontumi display wei sei nti no sɛ ɔkɔ ne papa hɔnom a ayi incident bi ansi mba sɛ ɔwɔ ne maame hɔnom na sɛ bi ohia biribi na ne ma sɛ ɔpɛ ne maame phone na ne maame amfa phone na ama ne ntɛm a maame ne de phone ne ma na ɔbɛto phone na akɔne asɛ phone no even though ohia obisa for phone no phone ne sɛn so a almost the whole day no kyɛ sɛ ɔbɛsɛesɛe nneɛma wɔ fie hɔnom ne ade nti no te sɛ ɛyɛ nneɛma bebree a ɛyi nneɛma bebree a it's very difficult and challenging nti maamefoɔ ne papafoɔ a wɔn wɔ ba a ɔyɛ autistic no I salute them because ɛnyɛ easy. It's not easy. Kra. Ebi wɔ hɔnom a 24/7. Akwadaa bi wɔ hɔnom a ontimi kyerɛ sɛ wɔnna koraa na wada bi. Nti no yɛbɛkɔ into all that as time goes on because Doc, okay. Yɛda Yehowa ase sɛ wo ho yɛ. You're very welcome. There is autism class at my school, and we enjoy working with them very well. The kids are lovely and very creative. Most definitely. To say, and many agye nso paa sɛ baabi a woyɛ adwuma no te sɛ school no ɔmo school ɛsiane sɛ ɔnsɛ sɛ mo wɔ class no obiara wɔ different intellectual because it will be more it ranges from mild to profound and each and every one of them how they receive things is different, how they process things is different. Teachers juma any a staff juma so very careful sending redirecting their tone of voice, their facial expression, body posture, like everything. You have to be very organized and making sure that you are consistent because your friend is saying adult sorry to say bibia na wo kan wo kasa basa wo no enkwala saa no omo mpe wasem na every time bia no omo wo ho a they will go into crisis after crisis after crisis because the energy you have it's not pleasant. And autistic kids they don't like to be challenged. You will power struggle with them so many days, so many times, every time. Sometimes your scent will be a trigger for them. Your appearance, your presence within them will set them into crisis. But creativity, very creative. It's incredible. Like some of them are amazing. Others can speak very well, but some of them they do struggle with communication and social interaction or interacting with anyone. Some of them they will be with the group, but they will sit and just observe their peers playing back and forth because some of them don't like to be touched. Light, sensory. When we talk about sensory, we'll go into that next time. Lighting can be a trigger, and so many other things. We need to pay love and attention to our autistic kids wherever they are. Bam, 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 bam. That's the whole idea. So, if you see a parent, doing program and they talk about they have an autistic child, or they doing something pre-recorded or doing live video and they sharing that with you, be kind, be mindful your wording, what you say. do not mock the parent. Do not disrespect the parent. Do not mock the child. Do not laugh at them, or like think that they not like they have such a good heart. They don't think ill of anyone. They just have difficulties and challenges. And their learning process is totally different from children who do not have autistic. So we need to be compassionate, show empathy, but not feel sorry for individuals with who are autistic, because they are smarter than you are. The people who are ignorant, you think you're smarter, but that autistic child, you know, may will know more than you do. So we need to spread the awareness. It's really important for us to, uh, spread the awareness of autism. Some people have heard it. Some people have seen other parents who is out with their child being on the spectrum, and they share their daily, day to day activities. What are some of the things that they do with them to keep them, focused, interacting, because a lot of them, when they don't have nothing productive to do, if you're not creative, that's going to be a really challenging day, not just for your child with autistic, for you, the adult as well. For you, the parents, you're going to be drained, and you need to make sure that you're doing self-care, you're taking care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of your child who needs your support. um, Thank you, Dr. Joe Kinsley. Thank you so much. So the love needs to be more, right? We need to learn to be receptive to anyone, everyone. Someone having autistic child, should not be attacked, because you don't know the work that they put through, the work that they do to make sure that their child is receiving all the necessary care. And then, if you have an autistic child, and you can share some resources, information, do share, because you do have some parents who do not have that opportunities and the resources that they need to help their child. And the parents, who are in denial, you hurting your child, because you want to say, you shouldn't feel embarrassed. They don't have the causes of it. Where you live can create that environment, can play part in it. People interact with, but you need to get your child all the care, because the earlier intervention is very helpful. It's good to have that, to help your child, getting your child speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, because you do have some kids, when they holding pen, pencil, and cups, it's not strong. They don't have strong bones, to hold it. So the occupational therapy is helpful, to strengthen, with flexibility and strengthen, plus the physical therapy, speech therapy. Everybody know what that is, for them to be able to learn to speak well, and learn communication skills is also another thing that is really helpful. So I'm going to leave you guys here today. Next Sunday, I'll come back, and then we'll talk about the characteristic. Some of them, as I said, I share here today, but we're going to go into more depth, with the characteristics, some of the triggers, but it'll be different for each kid, but there is similarities. because some of them, when you see their facial expression, as a parent, you know when to approach your child and when not to approach your child. Some of them need some space to be able to process things, because if you rushing them, it's like, that's going to like create an unsafe environment. So when we have it's good for us to have a greater public awareness when it comes to um, autism, right? And which, because it will make it easier for the family, that people know, and they know how to receive their child. We shouldn't be treating children who has disability any different from children who do not have disabilities. You do not know what they have to endure. You need to be receptive to them. But to say a promo for no will be more honoma. I don't know. Minim dientia ebi mu esua poor characteristic to say or no and two yes and two wada. Ɛna te sɛ nipa a wosere ayarefoɔ no, wo no sɛ wonwoeɛ anaasɛ wogu so wo a wonnim deɛ ɛbɛto wo. Nti no sɛ obi ba yare a ɛnkyerɛ sɛ ne ba no nyɛ nipa anaasɛ saa nipa no womma ne buo. Ɛyɛ very sad. It's really, really sad and sickening. Whereas some people are so ignorant, lacking of knowledge, and they don't have any set of boundaries or respect for themselves or for other people. If a parent is willing to share her journey with her child who is autistic, and I respect that parent, and I have so much love for that parent, because she knows that there are other parents out there who also are struggling but do not know what to do. So just seeing somebody else going through the same thing that they're going through can help them for them to be able to take other steps to help their child and themselves. So we need to give more love than negative energy. And I thank each and every one of you, those who share the program, those who like it, love it, use other emojis, invited friends. I really, truly love each one of you. And baby sister, hi! How are you? Chris Spencer. It's good to see you, sis. So I'm going to be talking about, this a lot. I have worked with how many years in 2003 to now? So that's how many years now? In 2022, so that's 17 years. No. 2003. Oh my gosh, my math 2003. That's 17. 17 plus. That's 20. 19, right? 19 years now. Oh shoot. Hey, and as I'm calculating the year. 17 plus 2, that's 19, right? And as I'm Dr. Joe Kingsley, amen, and God bless you as well. Thank you so much. Now, next week, Sunday, I'm expecting you to come on, because, to come and contribute like you did today, because knowing that you do, you work in an environment that you guys have a class, with children with autism, and their creativity, because that's the most important thing. When you do know, you have knowledge of individuals who are on the spectrum, you'll be able to give some insightful information, whereas a parent or someone who has a family member who's going through some difficulties and challenges will be able to share And we also need to keep in mind that, children with autism, when it comes to transition, that's the most difficult thing for them. Transition is really challenging for them. And when you introduce new if you introduce new um, structure, new routine, it's going to take time. So don't expect things to work magically. The parent, people, the support team around your child, they all need to be on the same page, because one cannot do this and another can do another one doing a different thing. Everybody has to be on the same page. That's the trick. And you have to be consistent. You cannot say today, okay, today I'm going to be consistent and tomorrow I'm going to do different things. No, it's really important for you to be consistent with whatever structure you trying to like implement. And practice makes perfect. So we're going to go into more of that. Thank you, baby sister. Love you, love you, love you. No problem, God willing. Yes, with God's willing, we will meet next week Sunday for to talk more about autism spectrum disorder. Sister Belinda Jare Obahofe, Emma Aquaba, Yaji was super. Misha for na a pepper soup, moko community na make of for a lot into no more back of here later. No, you guys forgive me. Why? And then, as I always say, Google is my best friend. You know, parents, people who are not, knowledgeable about autism spectrum disorder, go and learn. So when you on social media and you see a parent, sharing their story, or doing things with their child, you need to, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Don't go to your platform, which is your own, and disrespect and bash and mock someone because you cannot understand what they're going through. Parents with children with disability, it's not easy, but they always standing tall, and I have great respect for them because um, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. So you guys have a blessed Sunday. I see you all throughout the week. Okay, I'm not gonna come 7 days a week, but I'll see you guys throughout the week. So take care. I thank each one of you who tune in. I appreciate you guys. I love quality of things, not quantity. So I love you guys. One love. Take care and be safe. All right. Bye.